Hello, and welcome back to another breaker video, where today I will be upgrading the ZPA bypass line to fix a low speed limit that covered about a quarter of the length of the route. The speed limit was 80 meters per second, and my aim is to upgrade it and make the speed limit 200. I've sped this up quite a lot as the video ended up being like an hour and a half long, so I have very much sped this up. You can see the old track to the left there, briefly there, and the new track is some track segments that I don't often use. It's some new segments that I'm using from a different mod. This is the Curb Inside Core mod, I believe they're from, and I recently installed it, so it's some new things I can use for track, and I will probably go around to a few different areas of the monorail eventually and upgrade some lower speed limits so that I can go faster in some areas. And the way I design the monorail is I tend to try and go for a very long straight track to go fast for as long as possible, and then if I need to curve I do a very short and sharp curve with a low speed limit, but I make that as short as possible so that I don't have to be going slow for too long. And those use the short viaduct segments from Curb Inside Remastered. So here you can see I'm relaying the track near Jeb's Junkyard, and the reason I'm relaying that is it starts off straight and then it enters this curve which I can't go any faster than 80 around. Now the reasoning for this is, the reason I can get away with this sharp curve here but I can't further back, is because the sharp curve I had before used the longer bridge segments from Ordinary Construction Co. Those I think are about 1,100 meters long at the scale that I use them at, which is quarter scale, and the issue I have is the curve that I have has 1 degree. No, the curve I had there was about 0.4 degrees per track segment, and you can't go any faster than about 80. It was 0.5 degrees actually, I got that wrong. 0.5 degrees per track segment, and you can't go any faster than 80 around that. Where on a track with 0.2 degrees per track segment, you can go 200 round. However, there is a bit of a catch. I can't just use the viaduct segments from Curb Inside Remastered as they're too short. That makes the curve too sharp and you are limited to about 80 around it again. So I have to go for a shorter track segment which is in between, and luckily the Curb Inside Core mod, which I recently installed, does have a bridge segment which is in between. However, the legs of the bridge are a bit short, so I am left with floating track. I try and ignore floating track because, to be honest, I cannot be bothered to make it connect to the ground. I would rather have a working monorail than have it look good, but that's just my preference. Here you can see I've spawned in a curve segment from CX Construction, and I've scaled it up to match the curve radius that it takes to get from my curved track to the track going from Jeb's Junkyard. and I'm using it as a guide to help me line the two tracks up, because it is extremely hard to try and line two tracks up to join them together, and that's actually the reason why I had a low speed limit along here before, because I did a bad job at lining the tracks up and I had to curve it more than I wanted to. So I had to do this in the future to upgrade it again to remove that low speed limit. So here you can see I've spawned in the jet train, and I'm going to test this line. I'm going to test to see if the train can make it along the track, and I'm going to test how long it takes. The train used to take about 27 to 30 minutes to go along the ZPA bypass line. So here you can see I'm going along the track which didn't need upgrading, so it's the original track. I'm going around the curve here and going past Jeb's Junkyard Station here, which is where the upgraded track begins. So along here the track used to be straight, so I've added a slight curve to it of 0.2 degrees per track segment. This still allows me to do 200, but it means I don't have to do so much of a curve with the sharp segment. Here you can see I'm doing a clutch building demolition because I added curve to the track. I didn't realise that the track went through a building, so I had to do a clutch building demolition so the train didn't crash into the building. Anyway, continuing on, I am at a speed of 195, now approaching 200 meters per second, whereas on the old track I would be doing 80. This is a vast improvement from before. I now don't have to worry about slowing down and going the other way, and it should decrease journey times by quite a bit. The train is staying on the track quite nicely as well. You may notice some visual glitches on the track where you can see the legs of the bridge through the track. Now, this is actually a bug with the old version of Kerbal Constructs that I was using. I have since updated Kerbal Constructs, so on any future videos that I post of the monorail, that bug will be fixed. So I am approaching the new curve segment soon. You may see some debris around there, and that is from a previous derailment I had before I upgraded the track. What happened was the derail kraken caused the train to fall through the track and explode. So here I am approaching the new curve that I have made, and the train travelling at full speed seems to stay on the track quite nicely. The curve is not too sharp with these shorter track segments. I will probably use these track segments in the future for more sharper curves if I need them on fast track. So that is the end of the upgraded track, so I've sped up the video again. The train ended up making it to the end of the line in 24 minutes, which is actually a 3-minute improvement from before. This does mean this is the end of the video now, so remember, if you didn't enjoy the video, to dislike and unsubscribe, and maybe you won't watch the next video.